Hi everyone, so good to see you. Good evening, or good morning, wherever you might be. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing and community almost every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. It's the middle of February 2026. I am here with my beloved sister Tzeira. We are in Sydney, Australia, where she and her family live. We're on Bondi Beach. We'll be talking about that soon. But it's good to see all of you. Let's see who's here so we can say, not good morning, but hi. Camille, it's nice to see you. Let's see who else might be saying hello. Hi, Abba. Nice to see you. Rosa, so good to see you. I'm sorry it's so early in the morning in Malta, but I'm really glad you're here. Camille, Shavua Tov, good to see you. Ashley, good evening. Everyone, it'd be lovely if you'd like to check in and say hello. Let us know where you are so we can know with whom we're sharing such a moment. We'll say a few more hellos, sing a bracha, and then I'll teach a moment of Torah, and we'll talk a little bit. Last time we did this, we were sitting outside a
cafe in Tel Aviv.
So it's good to see all of you. Cheryl, Barry, Dave, Jonathan, welcome everyone. Good to see you. All right, we're going to take a breath, sing a bracha, learn a little bit of Torah, and mark this space and moment. Ya la 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 la, tiri ya la la la, tiri ya la 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 la, ay la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah, hafoch ba v'hafoch ba, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Tiri ya la 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 la, tiri ya la la la, tiri ya la 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 la, ay la la la. So hi everybody. Again, welcome everyone. Chodesh Tov. It's the beginning of Adar. We're taught at the beginning of Adar, Marbim B'Simcha, and please God, may that be actually what we do when the month of Adar begins. Joy increases, so let that be. I'm here with my beloved sister Tzeira, and we are in Sydney, Australia, where she lives with her family. We're on Bondi Beach right now, and I thought to teach a little bit of Torah, and then to ask Tzeira to share with us some of the meaning of this space and this moment for her. I am humbled to be here and grateful to UJA for supporting me coming to visit my family, not in the immediate aftermath, but soon after. A very, very hard moment for them, for our community, for the Jewish people, and for Sydney and Australia at large. This week's Parsha is Terumah, and it is a fantastic shift from the climactic moments of plagues and the sea splitting and receiving the Torah, one thing after another. Then last week, the Torah portion of Mishpatim, of the rules, but then we come to this moment in Terumah. Terumah is about what we give in order to build a holy space. And one of the most famous psukim, one of the most famous verses, is Ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti b'tocham. Make for me a holy place that I may dwell amongst you. And it is a strange phrase because you would have assumed that if you're building a place, it's for the sake of the one who asked you to build it. But in fact, and in truth, what does God need space for? What do we need any space for? And what's really interesting about the Mishkan, that holy place that we ended up building because of the command in this week's Torah portion, one of the things that's most remarkable is that that place is holy, but it's portable. We take it apart, we put it together. The holy job of the Kohanim, of the Leviim, the priests and the Levites, is to construct it and deconstruct it. Which means any space could be infused with this kind of holiness. Another way of saying that is, sometimes a place is not just a place. We're in a space that's just a space, This is Archer Park, part of Bondi Beach. This is the site of where the attack happened. And this is also a site where I'm sitting with my sister, where we're learning Torah, sitting shoulder to shoulder, and talking about what happened, but not only talking about what happened. And so I wanted to ask you, and only the depth that you'd like to go, this idea that any space can take on significance, can take on meaning. A space becomes something else. I'm just wondering if that resonates for you.
Oh yeah. So I enjoy being able to take a space and just making it mine. Archer Park was the site of the Hanukkah by the Sea event. 500, 600, 700 of us from the Jewish community were here within the parameters of the event, within the fenced-in area. And yes, the shooting happened here. It happened to us, but it also happened to the community at large. And one of the really beautiful things that I felt afterwards was that it wasn't just the surrounding Bondi Beach community that came to see and to understand. We're almost 3 months later, and you have buses that are coming with these individuals who were not here to try and understand how could something so horrific happen. But also in the aftermath of the shooting, one thing that I found personally for myself, and it might not resonate with others, but there was a council of elders who had come, members of the Aboriginal community who came, and they did a cleansing in this space to help take away the anger and the hurt and leave the peace. And I found that that was one of the most beautiful things that I had learned. And this space, I come down here 2-3 times a week as often as I can. As part of my acclimation to Australia. We've only been here for almost 3 months. And I find that it's calming. But that's me. That's not going to be necessarily the next survivor next to me.
And one of the things that points out is that the experience of a place is so subjective based on who's here. There are people walking around us right now, and they are maybe just casually walking, unaware maybe even of what happened, but certainly not experiencing in the same way that others have. And it's complicated.
Yeah. Even about a couple of days after they brought down the police barrier that was around the area to allow Zaka to do their holy work, the very next day you had groups of teens sitting at the picnic area behind us, making a picnic. There are signs up around the area saying this is the site of a horrific event, please treat it with respect. And that's also really important. And so they're allowing the pain, they're allowing the terror attack that happened to be acknowledged, but also to recognize that this place also was here before. As Menachem said, you have people coming in from the surf as you see them kind of walking behind us, carrying their surfboard, with their swimmers on. And this is also part of their day-to-day. This is a path that they might have taken every day. The buses go by. They're people, honestly, are just coming from all over to see the place, but to also experience Bondi Beach. It's really quite beautiful.
And if it's okay, just a moment ago, my beloved brother-in-law, your beloved husband, Arsen, just joined us. I'm gonna have him sit where I'm sitting, because what I'd love for a second is to, first of all, this community of our 9 o'clockers, who right now it's 8 o'clock at night,
so
and
sorry.
only for some of you, and for you it's Monday, but for us it's Tuesday, have been sending the two of you and the girls and the whole community deep love. And so for them to know that we're sitting here together is significant. But also I wanted to ask you, Arsen, before actually walking around a little bit, if that'll be okay, to reflect, if you could, on having grown up here, what the meaning of the space is. I shared that the Torah portion talks about how building a sacred space in the desert is what we did right? And it's a portable tabernacle, and it moves where we move. So meaning changes over time and how we experience it. So I just wanted to ask what your commitment is as someone who was raised here and now who's come back to help lead the Jewish community. What does this space mean for you? So I'm going to switch with you so you can answer that. Everybody give my brother-in-law and my sister so much love while he shares his response.
Oh, that's an easy answer. No, there are no easy answers there. So hi everyone. Thank you for your support, for us together, for our family, and certainly for the Jewish community here. It's still very surreal coming back here, and I'm probably back here at the beach at least a couple of times a day. Certainly driving past here every other day when we go to drop our kids off at school and pick them up. But it's very surreal to be here because we are here where literally I was on the precipice between life and death, where just behind me you can see the picnic table just over there. That's where I was hit, just over here. This is the area where my wife and our kids were when the shooting had started. So it is a very surreal place, and Bondi now you can see it's absolutely glorious. It's stunning. It's idyllic. It's it's blue skies. It's perfect ocean waves. It's people coming to be happy, to swim, to be together, to celebrate as we all did on the 14th. So this is the Bondi that I grew up with. This is my beach. This is my community. These are my people, and this is what Bondi used to mean to me. Unfortunately, that's not quite the case now. And coming back here, I think it's a necessity because, as Elie Wiesel said, we must bear witness, and we need to bear witness not only for those that no longer have a voice, that are the voiceless, but for us and for the survivors and the victims and the future generations as well. But it doesn't take away from the pain and the trauma, and the rupture in so many ways coming here. The wounds are healing physically, but the emotional wounds for us as individuals, as families, as communities will take much longer. There was a moment amidst all the many interviews that I did in the days after the attack, and one of the interviews I was asked, after the attack, are you more or less a man of faith? Which is not exactly a question that I was expecting. Every kind of political question about anti-Semitism, Australian Jewry, fine. Wasn't expecting this, and I didn't have an easy answer because I don't know how to explain why I survived, and by all accounts I should not have survived. When one gets hit in the head with a bullet, you do not survive to tell the story. Yet I somehow survived, and I'm sitting here with my wife, my brother-in-law, with our family. So I can't explain why I was scared, but a 10-year-old girl was not, or an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor, Alexander Kleitman, who saw the very worst of humanity in the Shoah, is not here speaking to you now. I can't tell you that. And survival is not always neatly packaged. For me, what I understood from that is that survival also comes with a sense of responsibility. A responsibility to share the truth about what happened. A responsibility to speak out for the victims who no longer can speak out, for the survivors, for our community, but also to speak out and to recommit ourselves to fighting this scourge of anti-Semitism that is an affliction not only against us, because it targeted us as Jews first and foremost, but it was an assault on Australia, on our way of life, on our very social fabric. This isn't a left-wing, right-wing issue. It's an Australian issue in exactly the same manner it is in America. Anti-Semitism doesn't distinguish what side of politics you're on, and it comes from this toxic cocktail from across the spectrum. So we need to be able to call it out relentlessly from every end. But ultimately, we can't change the past. What happened. We can't change that, but we can change the future. We can change what kind of country we want to live in, what kind of societies we want to live in, whether it's here in Australia, in America, wherever Jews are. So whilst we can't change the past, we can certainly commit ourselves to changing the future and fighting for a better, more open, inclusive, safe, tolerant society where Jews are like every other member of the community. So that's certainly what I'm committing myself to in the days, weeks, months, as we make a base here, working with the Jewish community and working certainly with our brothers and sisters abroad. And your support is truly deeply, profoundly, very, very meaningful. It underscores that we are not alone, that an attack on the Jew anywhere is an attack on Jews everywhere, and that we are one community, one people, whether we are Jews here in the state of Israel or in America. So your support, your prayers, your effort is deeply relevant, deeply significant, and deeply meaningful. So thank you for that.
We're going to squish together. That's what we're going to do. We got to... friends, there have been so many moments that we have shared as a learning community, but this is a moment that, as a family, I feel profoundly grateful to you all for us to be able to share. There is such depth in what each of you has shared. This space will continue to have all of those valences, and I know that everybody here is so grateful to be able to be witness with you, for you. And the sentence, the verse from the Torah portion that I shared, "V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham," make for me a holy place. No one really knows what the word holy means. What does it mean to make a place holy? So Yitz Greenberg, the great rabbi, teacher for many of us, suggested that holiness is intensity, and that we create intensity, we lead intense lives, and that's what makes space. V'shachati b'tocha means God says, I will dwell amongst you. So whatever someone believes about God, it means to me that there's more to life than just me. And having the two of you here is an affirmation of that. Friends, what I'd love to do just for a moment is walk around a little bit, if you'd be comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll take the role of filming, and then when we're done, I'll sing Hatikva. You're welcome to sing with me if you'd like. You'll have to tell me which way is east, though, because I'm not quite sure. We'll figure that out along the way. But friends, before they're not able to see your words, thank you for sharing all of the love. Thank you for sharing content and actually forwarding these messages abroad. There's such an unfortunate alignment in some of what you said, that our obligation is to make sure that while we can't change the past, we learn from it and act accordingly on behalf of our people and our wider community. As you said, this is not only a Jewish problem, this is a problem for Australia. Similarly, anti-Semitism is a scourge on life. And so our work must be in partnership with others, yes, but certainly as one family around the world, as we are, to know that this is our work, to make sure that for the sake of our children and our children's children, we do bear witness, even and especially when it's difficult. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little bit more of that. Sarah, maybe you'll show. I'm going to turn this around. Everybody stay with us. And I'm going to follow where you'll lead. You'll choose what to show. Okay.
So I like to give a little bit of perspective about kind of where everything was. So I'll take my husband's suggestion. We're going to kind of go counterclockwise. Many of you saw the images in the news where there was the father and the son. So the father was over here where the buses were, if I'm not mistaken.
This is where I parked that car. So
Okay. And then the father had set up over there, and the son had set up on the bridge, right through here. Okay.
I should just add the first two people who died, Boris and Sophia Gutman, were immigrants from the former Soviet Union, made their life here, and they saw the two terrorists park the car and get out. Remember, they also put their ISIS flag in the shield. They came out with their guns, and this couple, with nothing but their bare hands and absolute courage, just went to tackle them, to fight them. They paid with their lives. They were the first two to be killed by the terrorists.
And in every Jewish event here in Australia, there's always a police presence, there's always the local security group that protects not just the events, but also the synagogues and the schools. So there are entrances over there.
need to be able to hear you.
Sorry.
No, you stay. I just need to hear you.
Okay. So you had the chairs. You had the photographers set up under the covered area. You had a hot dog stand. You had a kids' activity. You had a kids' climbing wall. Under that other covered area, you had a jewelry stand, an ice cream stand. It's actually where I sat with Roni, our youngest. She made the inside of the hot dog. If you have any children or grandchildren that can relate. Closer towards us, you had face painting and a balloon. And actually right over here where we're standing is where the petting zoo was. And in the middle of all of this, you have the bubbles and a massive tic-tac-toe, just people congregating and feeding.
Playing families, young kids, elderly. It was just a beautiful, happy, joyous occasion.
When the shooting started, we actually were not together. I had taken the kids to go sit down. They were a little bit tired. So my back was actually to the bridge. Those two metal objects are outdoor barbecue area, so I was actually kind of near that. With my back to the bridge.
Just over there. The bridge is just over there.
Which is now behind me. Arsen. Go ahead.
Just there.
Yep. Arsen was in line to get his hot dog. He had gotten his drink, but the hot dog hadn't come out yet. As the shooting started, having come from Israel, having been running from rockets, ballistic missiles, our bodies were a little bit more, I'd say, trained, which is a very sad, unfortunate way of saying it. So I took the kids and then we ran past that really beautiful tree that's right in front of us, and we ran to safety.
Keep going.
At one point, I write to our family WhatsApp group, I'm with the girls. I probably should have also said we're safe, but in that moment I just wanted everyone to know that I had the kids. Our conversation continued. We understood that Arsen had been hit. It was just the four of us from our family here. And as the events are unfolding, there was a lot of uncertainty. We made friends during those moments. What we didn't know until about 2 weeks later was that I was with our now friend's husband and their child, and our son was next to the wife and their other child. So we obviously created this bond that won't ever go away, and I'm quite lucky for it, to be honest. We talk about the blessings that come out of unfortunate events, and that was, for me, a big blessing to get to know this couple and their children, for our children to play together. You know, it's, I don't, I actually come down here quite often during the week, just to sit and be, and to sometimes process kind of all that happened, but, you know, it really is just this beautiful place that has a layer of pain added to its story.
There's no one that comes to Australia that doesn't know where Bondi Beach is, that doesn't make a stop to Sydney without stopping at Bondi Beach. It's one of the most iconic places. Bondi Beach to Sydney is what Times Square is to New York, Eiffel Tower is to Paris. It is so iconic. Seeing those images on that day, because it wasn't only just us here in the Jewish community that were targeted, and we're seeing thousands and thousands of people fleeing from the pack of Bondi Beach. I think it also was understood as we were the primary targets. It was an attack on all of us, as a whole.
Can you go over the memorial, maybe?
Sure.
Oh, you want to go over here? Okay. Okay.
One of the things that we, you know, in the aftermath of our conversations, trying to understand where exactly were you? Because there was, obviously, as you can imagine, a lot of chaos. When I took the kids and ran, we actually ran right by our son. We were 10 feet, not even, and we just didn't notice.
I wouldn't have known that I was there in this.
Right.
When the attack started, I would have been just around here. This is what first thought is not that this is a mass terror attack, but it must be a balloon. There were kids, there were families, all sorts of kids' activities. So I thought maybe it was a balloon or something like that. But then it was like bang, 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 non-stop. And I knew straight away, we were under attack because you could see their parents picking up their children, putting them to their chest and running with them. There were people falling down already that had been. You saw smoke billowing from the grass from the bullets, and it was just absolute chaos. So I was standing just here, and I immediately ran towards here. This is the only place that had any kind of made protection. At the time, remember, there's also two shooters. There could be more. We just didn't know at the time. And one of them would have been firing just from the street level, and the other one, the sun, would have been firing from the ridge over there, which meant that because we're surrounded here, and the bullets are coming from both angles, which made them destroy now the slow man over here. People congregating here, and it's not very high here. It's maybe a foot or so. You could try to shield yourself, shield the children here, rain, cries, tears, babies crying, just that feel fear. This grassy patch. That's right, lay down. Until they get close to the house, it's just absolute hail of gunfire. But my immediate thought is really maybe a bit less than my children, where are they? They would have been out in the open. That's where I left them. As I stood up to run towards them, I was like on hit. And I knew straight away something had happened. I knew that I was hit because it felt like a full smoke. And the blood just started gushing out everywhere. I put my hand on my head and I could feel the blood in my skin and it fell to the ground. I'm hit, help, no one can help. Because everyone's on the ground. And the bullets are going everywhere. Right at me, just around. There was a couple and the man gave me his shirt to try to stop him bleeding. Just over here, where you see the two candles there, okay, there was a man lying on top of his wife, clearly shielding her, his hand hunched over, he was hit. There's not moving, blood is just coming from the left of him. He had meters away, just over there on the bench. There was one person who was really hit. And the second one who I saw with my own eyes get shot and you saw body parts. So I mean it was an absolute wonder. For me it was immediately reminiscent of the 27th of this one, specifically the scenes around it over the festival. People, bodies, everywhere, not knowing how long this is going to go for. I saw at one point when I got up to try and look for her, my wife, for my kids, I saw the shooter on the steps. And you see him loading the gun, and it would have been a split second, but you see in that split second the pure hatred for this person's eyes grew. It's not a way to describe some of that kill as if it's some kind of shooting practice. This is where we were. This is 2 months ago where we were on the edge of life and death, but here we are to tell what happened.
Just before we close, thank you for sharing in such a vulnerable way. The day that it happened, maybe hours after when we were able to speak, I asked you what I should tell people. And without a blink, you told me what the message was. I'm just wondering if you would repeat it.
Pretty sure something along the lines of we will try and make people prevail, which knowing that might be the thing
getting a lot of thanks from people, including Rosa, saying this was hard to hear but very healing. So thank you for that. To both of you, thank you for just walking with us.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for the opportunity for you to be here.
Yeah. Friends, I'm going to turn the camera around because they've been uncomfortable long enough. And what I'm going to do, and you're welcome to come with me if you'd like, I want to walk over to the memorial and we'll close the broadcast like we do every day, singing Hatikva, just so you can see the memorial as we're walking toward it. Because it was the first night of Hanukkah, the memorial's in the shape of a Chanukiah. There are people who are here, they're wearing the blue shirts just to take care of anyone in case they were here and they could use someone to talk to. It's beautiful that they do that.
For the wider community, actually. Australia, help anyone who's come to the memorial. It's not just the survivors, that way for the greater community. It's some really great work.
Yeah. I'm just going to show you, friends, a little bit about what's here. There's beautiful language. To bless this community and my family. Even if it isn't east, let's imagine that this is facing east. We'll sing Hatikva. Kolon paleva b'nima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia, עוד לא עבדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Am Yisrael Chai, friends. So good to see you. See you tomorrow at some point. Pay attention to Facebook, it'll let you know when. Am Yisrael Chai.